You probably wonder how non-profit companies do their IT or anything which is basically digital, because as we all know, IT is pretty expensive and expertise is as well. The question is, who's on the mission to make it all happen? And we have the person here who is on exactly that mission today. David Pisarek is the CEO and founder of Wow Digital, a digital innovator dedicated to empowering non-profits through smart tech solutions. Hello and welcome, David Pisarek.
So much, Niels. Thank you, everybody, for having me on the show.
Thank you very much for taking the time, and I get straight into the topic. Let's say we are a non-profit organization, and you talk about web accessibility and website redesign, etc. As a non-profit organization, couldn't I say, look, why does this matter? We need fundraising, we need money, we need to be out there. So why does this matter, in your opinion?
It's really important that nonprofits, charities, NGOs, whatever, community
Hmm.
groups, right, that they run themselves as if they were a business, right? The old
Oh,
adage
wow.
is it takes money to make money. You
Hmm.
have you have costs, right? Whether you have physical office, location, site, etc. You need
Hmm.
money coming in for that. You need to pay the team that's involved, executive director, etc., etc. I know everybody works with nonprofits because they love it and it feels good, it's warm and fuzzy. But if they didn't get paid, it's volunteer. And when something
Hmm.
becomes volunteer based, it all gets kind of pushed a little bit towards the back burner, right? So if you want to keep your organization moving forward, you do need money to invest in people. You do need money to invest in whatever it is that you're doing. You need money to support the constituents for whatever your cause happens to be. And the best place to start with all of that is having a really great website that will work as a marketer for you 24/7, 365,
Hmm.
right? And that's really the main point of it.
Excellent. Haven't you met people, and I'm pretty sure you do have met them, who say, look, you say we should run this as if we are a business. David, this is not a business, it's a calling. We do it all for the people. Why do you come along with all that business stuff? Haven't you met these people who don't have that business mindset and then suddenly they challenge what you do?
An organization, if you went into a bank and you said, hey, we are a nonprofit, we want to help feed hungry children in the morning so that they have a great day ahead, they can learn in school.
Yeah.
Let's say that's what the cause is, right? They're going to say, okay, what's your plan? And you're going to go, well, why do we need a plan? Right? Just
Hmm.
give us the money. We're in it for the helping our community, right?
Hmm.
Uh, okay, but where's your business plan? How are you going to fundraise? How are you going to pay back the
Hmm.
loan that you're asking for? Right? At the end of the day, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your take, right? We live in a pseudo capitalistic society. The banks are here to make money. They're also here to help you and and that type of thing by giving you loans. But it's a two-way street. You do need to pay them back. You do need money to buy the food, to distribute the food, to get a van or a truck or whatever to drive it around the city, right? Everything ends up costing money. And yeah, it'll be great to get donations or in kind services, but not everything is going to be that way. You do need to have a plan. You need to have a mission, a vision, right? So that you know what it is that you're doing, what is your goal, and how do you measure your success? Were you successful as an organization in helping feed 2,000 people a month or whatever your goal happens to be?
Yeah, excellent. And when it comes about choosing an agency right now, let's face it, there is no shortage of agencies out there who at least tell you that they're able to do it. So when it comes to choosing an agency, how to find the right fit?
That's an excellent question. Part of that is, I guess, part of my story is trusting your gut, right?
Hmm.
When you meet with an organization, if it doesn't quite feel right, if you're meeting with agencies, freelancers, whatever it happens to be, consultants, right? If
Hmm.
if you don't trust your gut, you're going to end up regretting it down the road at some point. Maybe not, but I think in my lived experience,
Hmm.
that's very much been the case. As I think it's important to hire experts in what it is that you need the help in, right? If you are a nonprofit and you need help with your digital marketing, your website, running Google ad grants, whatever it happens to be, find the experts that can give you their full experience
Hmm.
that they've done it, they have a proven track record and can get you the results that you're looking to get.
Brilliant. When we talk about content management now, because as we all know, when you ask 100 people out there, you probably get 101 opinions on how to do content management or SEO, especially for nonprofit. So, how do you assess and optimize website content and SEO for nonprofits? As we all know, SEO can become pretty pricey. And when there's one thing people have to be careful on, especially when they're nonprofit, is spending money. So, content management, SEO for nonprofits, how should it work?
Very loaded question there, Niels. So let's kind of start at the beginning here. So I've been doing web. I started in the early 90s. I don't do there's black hat techniques where you're kind of like hacking the system. Then there's white hat, which is the old school techniques. Techniques.
Hmm.
And the SEO, search engine optimization, for anybody that doesn't know what that is, it's basically how do you get listed by the search engines? How do you rank higher than other organizations, right?
Hmm.
For the sake of this conversation, I'm going to call them competitors. So again, this goes back to the business
Yeah.
speak. Organizations are all out here to help people, but at the end of the day, in your pocket, in my pocket, there's only so much money. So in reality, the other organizations are competitors to yours, all fighting for the dollar. Okay, so
Hmm.
now that we've level set that, how do you anybody that comes to you and says we will get you ranked on number one in Google for I don't know 5 keywords, 10 keywords, whatever? It's malarkey. Don't buy into it. They're picking really low hanging fruit keywords that they can get you to rank number one. And at the end of the day, those are not likely the keywords that people are actually searching for. Okay,
Hmm.
so we need to understand with websites, there's multiple layers. You have the display layer, which is, the theme, the design. You have the content layer. And then you have kind of all the tech backend stuff that you don't see, but the search engines see. So there's data called Open Graph, OG data, and that's what feeds into the search engines. That's also what pre-populates when you share something on Facebook, what pre-populates the image, the title, the little description. And you can specify that. And there are tools and techniques depending on whatever web platform you're using. By far, one of the most popular platforms, I think it runs over 40% of the internet, is WordPress. We're a WordPress
Hmm.
shop.
Yep.
We build pretty much off of that. Almost, I think 99% of our sites are off WordPress. And I've been building with it since 2005. I've done
Mm.
massive sites, 9,000 pages, and one page sites. So in terms of what you can do with it, it really does depend on the size of your organization, but you can make it do anything. And what we want to do is implement systems and processes. In the WordPress world, there's things called plugins that enhance search engine optimization. By far, the one that we implement all over is called Rank Math Pro. There is a free version of Rank Math. We have an unlimited license as a developer
Hmm.
for it. So we implement that. And it allows you to customize those words that you're looking for. The other part of it is how do you know what people are looking for? Right?
Exactly. It's
You,
how do
you
you
need
know?
to have a few parts to that. One is Google Analytics on your website. Whether you like Google or hate Google, the reality is that Google is likely driving 50, 60% of the traffic to your website.
Yep.
Um, and then something else that Google has, it's called Google Search Console. It's free as well. And what that allows you to do is tie in a little bit more information, and you could actually get the results and the terminology that people are searching for that are driving traffic into your website. So by having Google Analytics, you can look at, I don't know, the top 5 or 10 pages of your website. That'll give you an inclination where the traffic's coming to. And then in Google Search Console, you can see the terminology that people are searching for out there. There are some other tips and tricks as well. I don't know if you want me to continue on that, Niels.
Go for it. Go for it.
Okay. There's a gentleman out there named Neil Patel. He
Hmm.
is one of these big hotshots in the SEO world. He bought a web platform called Answer the Public. If you go to Answer the Public, I think it's answerthepublic.com,
Hmm.
you can type in a topic. So it could be feeding children, just going back to that because that's what I was talking about earlier, right?
Yep.
It'll give you a list of terms that people are actually searching for around that topic. And then what do
Mm.
you do? You create content related to those topics. And you see over time that you can actually increase your traffic, your organic traffic coming to your website.
Excellent. So when you now work with non-profit organizations where you probably meet people who are maybe volunteering for a very long time. So these people might have certain points of view, certain approaches. They will tell you, hey, David, I'm in this business for a way longer time than you are, or at least they think they are. When it then comes to, because let's face it, when you want to be ranked high and you have a website running for I don't know how long, there's a certain time where you probably have to redesign. And the question is redesign timing. When do you know when to do it? And also, of course, redesign cost as a non-profit organization. What is it that you have to expect? Can you elaborate on that? Give us tips on that one?
Like, so this is a bulk of the work that we actually do for our clients. And the conversation revolves around this. Nobody is looking at your website as much as you are. So you might look at your website and go, I'm sick of looking at this, right?
Hmm.
But what you need to do is think about it through the lens of the public, through your ideal persona that you're trying to connect with, right? And the personas are really important to identify. You've got demographic, geographic, and psychographics. And you want to have a clear understanding about all of those. And you might have three or four main personas, avatars, whatever you want to call it, right? Um, is the website connecting with them? Are you getting traffic to the pages of your website that you believe are the important pages? If your
Hmm.
goal is to get people to sign up for a program or a service that you're offering, and you're not getting people doing that, the question then becomes is why? Right? And there's all kinds of analytic tools. There's something called Hotjar that you can get, which will do heat mapping of your website. So you can put this on your homepage. Your homepage typically gets about 40%, 40 to 50% of your
Hmm.
traffic. Google wants to send people deep in your website to the page with the content that they're actually looking
Yeah.
for. Back in the day, I'm saying back in the day, like 15 years ago, um, Google would send people to the homepage, and then you'd have to navigate 3, 4 clicks down
Hmm.
to get there. Google over the last decade or so has been taking you directly to that page. So on that page, you have clear call to actions, CTAs. Do you know what CTAs are? CTAs, they're essentially a button that tells people what to do. People really don't want to think anymore.
Donate now.
Having
Something like that. Donate now. Is that a CTA?
donate now, even better than donate now, is making it very specific. So if you have a page that talks about this breakfast program, the
Hmm.
call to action should be donate to the breakfast program.
Hmm.
Right?
Okay.
And then it becomes very specific instead of a generalization, right? So that's kind of the direction that we lead people in. So you've got your website, you're getting traffic to it, it's not resonating, people aren't doing what you want. That's usually when you're like, all right, it's time for a website redesign.
Mm.
Another indicator that it's time for a redesign is open up the website on your phone, right? I
Hmm.
there's the COVID has certainly brought this to the forefront. Uh, but usually it's like 40% or so of traffic is actually on their phones,
Hmm.
right? So you want to make sure that the website is mobile optimized. Google, who keeps a very tight lip on what their algorithm does and doesn't do, they've outright said that if your website is mobile optimized, you're going to get ranked higher.
Hmm.
Okay, so we
Okay.
want to make sure that there's a great mobile experience and that the site works well, that there's no sideways scrolling on anything. So if the site doesn't work well on mobile, another indicator that it's time for a redesign. And then just looking at it, like how does it make you feel? Right? Does it feel old and dated? If your website was designed and launched, I don't know, probably 5, 6 years ago or more, it's probably
Hmm.
time for a redesign. I like to say keep it on like a 4 year schedule, 3 to 4 year schedule, something
Yeah.
like that if you can afford to do it more often. If you're dealing with younger demographic, you want to do it more often because you want to stay trendy with the
Mm.
design and the technology. If you're dealing with older demographics, right, it's okay to make it prolonged a little bit. Most nonprofits are I don't know, probably dealing with like 30 to 60 year olds.
Yeah.
So those are indicators of a redesign. Now you did ask me, how much does it cost?
I know, and I know it's not a popular question because you can probably from to, and there's a wide range. Can you give us a rough estimate?
Our typical projects run about 20 to 25,000.
Hmm.
So what does that actually mean? It means that you get a refreshed website built on WordPress. You get trained on the back end system so you can manage it and take it over. So you don't have to pay ongoing costs, although to my a little bit to my detriment, right? But we want to empower our clients to be able to take ownership of the website. Having said that, we do have support plans and maintenance plans and things like that to give our clients all the support as much or as little as they need.
Mhm.
We've done sites as low as 6,000. We've done multi-year sites that are, a couple 100,000. So it really does depend on what it is that you need in the website. But we found the typical nonprofit that we work best with, it's usually a budget of 20 to 25,000. What you should try, all right, let me try that again. What you should try to aim for is of your overall budget as an organization,
Mhm.
you should be spending about 10% on marketing.
Okay.
Of the 10%, it's usually 5 or 6% that's spent on your website digital front from that
Mhm.
side. The rest of it would be ads, it would be graphics, banners, it could be signage on the building or facility, things like that.
Excellent. When we now talk about digital marketing strategies, email marketing, social media, etc., which is of course a very complex field, anyone sort of knows it might get people's eyeballs on the website, turning everything into donations. However, it is a very complex field, and especially when it's run by volunteers, often they do it to the best of their knowledge, which, as we all know, may or may not work. What's your take on how to do digital marketing properly, how to get the grip of this email marketing, social media strategy as a non-profit organization?
So many thoughts around all this, Niels. It's amazing. Okay. Everything, think of it as like a hub and spoke type of model. Okay.
Mhm.
Everything should revolve around your website. Once you've got your site up and going, it's essentially free. Right? You have hosting, you have domain name, you might have some updates and security patches and things like that. But essentially, it's kind of a free thing, right? Versus a printed publication that, oh, you notice you want to make a change, you got to print another 20,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what we need to do is, and I'm going to say back in the day again, but I think as little as 5 or 6 years ago, we need to be on every social media channel. Everybody else is on there. We have to be there. We have to be there. We need no,
Hmm.
no. Those days are long gone. What you need to do is figure out, again, back to the demographics, geographics, psychographics. Where do these people, and the key thing there is psychographics. Just a quick little summary. Psychographics are what goes on in somebody's mind. What do they care about? What are they thinking?
Hmm.
Okay. So, and part of that is where are they hanging out? What social media channels is the audience you're trying to connect with hanging out on?
Mm.
Pick your
Meaning when
pop.
you probably when you put something on TikTok because you heard TikTok's cool and trendy, but your audience doesn't hang out there, you just wasted the money of people who donated for you.
Possibly, right? So figure
Mm.
out who is it that you're connecting with? Where do they spend their time? And then put your effort into that one social media channel. If that channel is working for you, if you're getting engagement, if you're getting replies, likes, comments, things like that, awesome. If after 5, 6 months it's not working, axe it and go for another one.
Hmm.
If you're picking up traction, let's say it's Facebook, you're picking up traction, awesome, 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 and you're like, okay, we need to expand, we need to do a little bit more because you feel that your audience is also on Instagram, right? Meta is Meta. Uh, awesome, cool. Expand into Instagram. See if you get the traction there. If not, pull back, but keep
Hmm.
your on the one that is actually working. At the end of the day, years ago, people said social media is going to kill email. When email came out, it was email is going to kill snail mail. People
Hmm.
are still very much using it. Email is like the most precious, prized possession that anybody has. So if you have something that allows people to subscribe for updates, for example, or they make a donation, right? They are telling you that they are willing to get information from you. They care about you in some way. And what
Hmm.
you want to do is leverage that to your benefit.
Yeah.
So figuring out the right digital strategy is super important. So the updates to your website, when and how and what you're going to publish on social media, and then how are you going to communicate by email? That's really the third prong on this, right? So obviously there's certain times of year, like Giving Tuesday is when is this episode going to air?
Oh, this episode is going to probably in a couple, 1 or 2 weeks.
Okay. All right. Cool. So, right. Giving Tuesday is coming up in the beginning of December. You need to start communicating with people now, not the week of. You need to build the case for support. You need to explain to people where and how the money is being used. What is the impact of their dollar? Not necessarily asking them for money, but just
Mhm.
talking about the stories, right? Let's emotionally engage the people that care about your organization to get them to care more so that when you do go in for an ask, that you've got their appeal. You understand that they care about it and they understand from their perspective where the money's getting spent, how it's being used, so that they'd be willing to give and maybe give a little bit more than they gave before.
Mm. Excellent. When we now think of everything we heard here, and let's face it, many people in non-profit organizations are not digital media experts. So they may listen to this and say, wow, that sounds like a lot of work. And where should we actually start? Maybe our take so far wasn't the most modern one, or the most appropriate one, or the most successful one. To wrap this interview up, what are David Pisarek's top three tips where to start as a non-profit organization when you now say, hey, we want to do something, but we just don't know where to start? Your top three tips, David.
First one is do a self audit. My team and I were actually in the middle of putting a self audit together. So I can let you know when that's live, so you can go and fill it out and really get a clear understanding about what's going on. But just sit down, look at your website, look at your why. Why does your organization exist? And does it match? Right? Is there a connection between your why and the website? Because that's really out there, telling the world what it is that you do. The second thing would be to book a free consult with me. So I'm going to do a little plug here. Book a
Yep.
consult with me. My team, we do free website audits. You can go to wowdigital.com/audit. Book a free audit. We'll tell you what's working, what isn't working. And from that audit, you can go and you can do it yourself. You can hire us, you can hire a freelancer, whatever. But our goal, our mission is to help 10 million people through digital
Wow.
technology. So just getting this audit with us, right?
Mm.
And implementing one thing in there, if that helps three people, right? We're getting closer to our goal, our mission over here. So, have us do this audit. And then the third thing is take a look at your budgeting. Really sit down and go, all right, we do know that we have a problem that we need to resolve. How can we put ongoing line item in our marketing budget for digital media, for advertising, for whatever email marketing, whatever it happens to be, right?
Mhm.
And then have that conversation with the board of directors and really understand and get them to be on your side to know the importance of this.
I think these are the perfect final words. We all know that the digital world out there becomes more and more complex, though. Ask the expert on how to do it properly because everything you need out there can be reached via these digital means. We have the expert number one here with us today. Thank you very much for David Pisarek being with us here today. And at the end of the podcast, there's only one thing left for me to say. David, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Niels. Have a great day, everybody. And please be in touch. Happy to connect with you.